Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Growth Lounge for another deep dive. You know me.
I know.
It's your host, as always.
Yeah.
And today we're going to get into something
Yes.
that I think affects pretty much all of us in the modern world,
for sure.
which is authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be looking at how we can really try to be our true selves
Yeah.
in a world that's full of filters and facades and curated images.
Yeah. It's kind of tough, right?
Yeah,
It can be.
it can be really hard.
Like, how do we even know what's real anymore, right?
Right. And especially when,
Yeah.
you open up Instagram or TikTok and everybody's,
Oh, yeah.
perfect and beautiful
And rich and happy.
and rich and happy. And you're just like,
Yeah.
well, wait a second.
Well, like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, I'm over here,
Yeah.
just struggling to get through the day-to-day.
But it's like, we all know it's not real.
We know it's not real.
But we still kind of buy into it somehow, you know?
Yeah, we still get sucked in.
Yeah.
We know that influencer is probably only showing us the very best,
Oh, yeah.
10 minutes of their entire day.
Absolutely curated, right?
But still,
Yeah.
it's like,
It makes you feel bad.
I'm over here with my, messy hair
I know.
and whatever.
It's so easy to compare,
Yeah.
And it's not even just like a conscious thing sometimes. It's just like
Yeah.
seeps into your subconscious and then you just feel bad about yourself.
Yeah. So we've been reading some research on this topic.
Yes.
And one of the things that they talk about a lot
Mm-hmm.
is that there's a real impact on our self-perception
Oh, absolutely.
from social media.
Yeah. And there's actually like psychological reasons for that. You know, it's not just like a feeling, like there's actual science behind it.
Interesting.
Yeah. You've probably heard of like the spotlight effect.
Yeah.
It's this thing where we tend to think that people are noticing us
Oh, yeah.
way more than they actually are.
Totally.
Like, we think everyone's looking at our flaws and our mistakes.
Right. Like, I tripped and fell walking up here today,
Uh-huh.
but nobody saw it.
And you're, like, mortified, but nobody even noticed.
Right.
that
But in my head, I'm like, oh, my God.
everyone saw.
Everyone saw me.
I know. Well, it's so funny how our brains do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you've got that spotlight effect, and then you combine that with social media,
Oh, yeah.
where everyone's presenting these perfect versions of themselves.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster.
It really is. It can really mess with your self-esteem.
Yeah.
It's like you're constantly comparing yourself to these unrealistic standards.
Yeah, so it's not just like a
A silly little thing.
silly little thing.
Right. It's a real cognitive bias
Yeah.
that we have to be aware of.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I like that.
But the good news is
Okay.
the research also talks about how authenticity is linked to self-confidence.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So basically it's kind of counterintuitive,
Okay.
but when you embrace your imperfections, those things that make you unique,
Uh-huh.
it can actually boost your confidence.
Really?
Yeah. There was this study that found people who were more self-compassionate
Okay.
were also more resilient.
That makes sense.
Right.
Because they were able to kind of roll with the punches.
Exactly. It's like their self-worth wasn't dependent on being perfect all the time.
Right. So it's like, you make a mistake and you're like,
Oh,
okay, whatever.
Human.
I'm human. I'll do better next
Well,
time.
exactly.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. It's a much healthier way to live.
But how do we actually put that into practice?
Right.
Because it's one thing to, say it and
Yeah.
to read about it, but how do we actually do it?
Well, the source actually offers some practical strategies.
Okay. One that I thought was really helpful was being mindful of your social media consumption.
Okay.
It's not about like quitting cold turkey or anything,
Right.
but just being more intentional about,
Yeah.
who you follow and how much time you spend scrolling.
Yeah.
Think of it like curating your own mental diet.
I like that.
You wouldn't eat junk food all day, every day.
Right? Yeah.
So why would you feed your mind with stuff that makes you feel bad?
So like maybe unfollowing
Yeah,
those
exactly.
accounts that, make you feel bad about yourself.
Yep.
Okay, but what about like
Yeah.
those situations where you kind of have to put your best foot forward?
Right.
Like job interviews or meeting new people
Mhm.
where you want to be authentic,
Yeah.
but you also want to present yourself well.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's where this idea of like the public versus private self comes in.
Okay.
Like there are different versions of ourselves that we show to the world depending on the situation,
yeah.
and that's okay. The key is to make sure that even in those more formal settings, you're still staying true to your core values and beliefs.
So it's not about being fake.
No.
It's about, you know,
It's about being strategic
yeah.
and knowing how to present yourself in a way that's both authentic and effective.
Okay, so there is a balance.
There is a balance.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to find, but it's worth striving for.
So one of the things that I really liked about the research is that it emphasizes how embracing imperfection can lead to greater freedom and happiness.
Absolutely.
It's like giving ourselves permission to be human.
It really is. You know, like there's this great Leonard Cohen quote.
Ooh, I love Leonard Cohen.
Me too.
Okay, let's hear it.
He says, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, and it's so true.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
those cracks, those imperfections
Yeah.
are what make us interesting and relatable
And real.
and real.
You know-
like who wants to be around somebody who's perfect all the time?
Exactly. It's exhausting.
Yeah, and boring.
And boring and frankly not very authentic.
Yeah, it's like you can't trust them.
Right. Like, who are you really?
Yeah.
You know?
So in a world that's so obsessed with perfection,
Mm-hmm.
embracing our imperfections is almost like a radical act of self-love.
It really is. It's like saying, hey, this is me, flaws and all, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that.
And you know what?
What?
When you embrace your own imperfections, it makes it easier to accept the imperfections of others.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, because we all have them.
We all have them, and
Yeah.
it's what makes us human.
Yeah, it's like this ripple effect.
It is.
Like authenticity breeds connection, which breeds more authenticity.
Exactly. It's a beautiful cycle,
Yeah.
you know?
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what is one tangible step that our listeners can take today to like move towards living a more authentic life?
I'd say start small.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't have to be this big dramatic thing.
Right.
Maybe it's just unfollowing a few accounts on social media
Yeah.
that trigger those negative comparisons.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's catching yourself when you're about to apologize for
Yeah.
something that makes you uniquely.
Yeah.
You know, little by little, these small acts of self-acceptance
Yeah.
can lead to big shifts in how you see yourself
Okay.
and how you show up in the world.
I love that.
Yeah.
So small steps lead to big changes.
They really do.
Yeah.
It's all about consistency.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
And you know what?
Uh,
Authenticity is an ongoing journey.
It is.
It's not like you just wake up one day and you're like,
I'm authentic.
I'm authentic.
I've made it.
Now I'm done.
I'm done.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you have to work at.
Yeah, it's a practice.
Yeah.
You know, like anything else.
And there will be days when, you know, you feel more in alignment with your true self.
Absolutely. Some days you're killing it.
Yeah.
Some days you're not.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's all good.
It's all part of the process.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
But the important thing is to keep coming back to that
Mhm.
intention of living a life that feels true to you.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
It's always great
Likewise.
having you on.
I always love chatting with you.
Me too. And remember, everybody,
Yes.
if you'd like more inspiring content on personal growth and self-discovery,
Uh-huh.
you can check out the Uplift Space on YouTube and Instagram.
And, of course,
And, of course,
subscribe to the Growth Lounge
right here on Spotify.
so you don't miss an episode.
Thanks for being with us.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.